Silent Future is a collaborative psychedelic doom metal record, which is between Chicago-based or sort of Illinois-based psychedelic doom metal band REZN and Vinnum Sabbathi, which is a Mexico City-based group who are very different in some respects. So to really understand what why is this an interesting pairing, you have to understand what both of these bands are and the way they do things. Really, what it is that REZN have written a series of songs with a theme and left space for Vinnum Sabbathi to add in the cinematic luster and the extra layers that make it interesting. So, in a lot of ways, we're getting a second REZN record on top of getting the most recent and updated version of Vinnum Sabbathi. So, this is a pretty big deal if you like REZN, is in particular, because this record and the songwriting is pretty much on par with their most recent record, which is Solace. And I rated that record pretty high. I like it even more than I did back then. It is one of the better records of the year in that style. But here we get something which came, I think, a few months afterwards, after that record was done recording, and certainly something that is the next step in REZN's sound in some respects, especially as we find the songwriting honed in on more emotional performances. This is very much a sci-fi horror narrative, so we get sort of a distraught and sort of misery-soaked feeling to this record, which is a little bit unexpected. So we'll cut into a song here just to get into the head of the record. So you might know what REZN do. If you listen to Elephant Tree and Windhand, you're already pretty much there in terms of the range of psychedelia and kind of fuzzy modern doom metal. But there's also a sort of a heavy rock side to what they do as well, which is influenced by prog and whatnot. So if you know that, well, what's this other group? Vinnum Sabbathi. How can I describe them? They are definitely a psychedelic doom metal band at heart as well, which they always do have riffs, but they're an instrumental band, and one which frames all of the recordings using samples from movies and speeches to tell a story. So they don't really have a vocalist, but it's sort of like a lot of post-rock bands do, where the narrative comes from those samples, and very much like a get high and sit back and listen to it sort of experience. And the way that fits in with a REZN record is that they took a narrator to convey the story here in Manuel Wothrop, and had him tell the story in sort of obscured vignettes throughout the album here. And it's really effective in the sense that his voice is readable but a little bit alien. You miss words here and there. The story comes across over time. So does that do anything for the record, or does it interrupt it? That's up to you to decide. I think it makes for something unique, and the fact that there's a lot of great songs. It's a great sounding record. The guitars are huge on this thing all throughout, and the use of everything from saxophone to modular synths and things like that, I think, keep it elevated. It just keeps it fully engaged with detail throughout. In fact, I think if there was one knock that I gave to this record, is there's so much detail to pull in that you never quite chill out with it. It's an unnerving experience per the cosmic horror of it all, but just there's a lot to take in. And I ultimately really liked that. I thought this is a great record. It is one of the better records of August, from my opinion. And I think it's something a lot of people will overlook just because collaboration albums are kind of hit or miss. But this is a good one, and worth checking out.